Well, my staff will tell you. I tell them the moral of the story is don't have kids.
Don't have kids. Oh my God.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in again. This is Nancy with our podcast, What Olivia Says, Lo Que Dice Olivia. I am so proud and so happy to present Joanne Sanchez, or a.k.a. Joanne Martinez. What do they call you?
We call each other the Santineses.
The Santineses, right?
Yeah.
So I know if you're from Watsonville, you probably know who Joanne is. But if you don't know who Joanne is, let me introduce her. Joanne is one of my personal heroes. Her and her husband are activists in the community, and they're all about the community. And if anybody's ever been about the community, it's you guys and Joanne specifically. So she is the woman behind the man. I would call her the brains. He's a muscle, but he might disagree with me on that. But Joanne is part of the founding of Digital Nest, that we'll get into it. But more importantly, Joanne is a Chingona. She's a Latina. She's my cousin-in-law.
Cousin-in-law?
She's my cousin-in-law. And Joanne has a very interesting beginning. She is an Angelina, LA, in the house. But she relocated to Watsonville. How long have you been in Watsonville now?
Since 2005.
Wow. That's what, 21 years?
21 years.
So now
I'm a Watsonville girl now. I've lived here longer than I did in LA, so I got to claim it. Although,
that's right.
LA
is in our hearts. But talk to me. Talk to me. First of all, I want to ask you, where'd you grow up? How'd you grow up? And how did you end up here? But let's start in the beginning.
I grew up in LA in housing projects known as Dogtown, right in the middle of downtown LA. Super proud of that.
Yep.
I always talk about how, it was a hood, but it made
right.
me who I am, and I'm really proud of who it made me, even though it was really tough. I came to find out later that motherhood is way harder than that hood, but we can get into that later. But yeah, so I went off to college in San Francisco.
That's right.
Was there for 17 years in LA, went off to college in San Francisco, met my husband, soon to be my husband, Jacob, in 1999.
But she met my husband first. So
I met her husband, Tom first. He was like the first brown face I saw. I went to San Francisco State, and I saw this other brown guy, and I was so nervous and scared because I had never visited the campus. I literally got dropped off in August of 1994.
So before you went to San Francisco, you had never visited the campus?
Never been there.
That's loca, mujer.
Really?
Really?
And I got dropped off. I got super nervous. The only campus I had visited before that was UC Santa Cruz.
Okay.
I did go to UC Santa Barbara too, but UC Santa Cruz was scary. My sister went there, and it was huge. So when I got to SF State and I tried to venture off on my own to see the campus from the dorms, I freaked out and I turned back around because I'm like, I could get lost in UC Santa Cruz. It wasn't the same at San Francisco State, not as big, not all the woods and stuff. But then on my way back, that's when I met your future husband. And we looked at each other and we were like, brown face. And we said hi. And then I found out he was from LA too.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was the first person I made friends with in San Francisco.
And now we know each other. You guys know each other, what, 30 years later?
I know him longer than I've known my husband or you.
Yes.
So that was 1994.
Yeah.
That's a long time ago. I
And
was 17.
Yeah. And then Tom introduces you to Jacob.
He did.
Jacob comes from Texas, I think.
He was in Texas at that point, originally from LA as well.
Uh-huh.
Lived in Mexico City at some point. And then in high school, his parents said, hey, we're moving to Texas.
That's right.
Which he was so upset about. So anyway, he said those were the hardest times of his life. He spent 4 years there.
Oh, I can imagine.
Was ready to get out.
Yeah, okay. And so, what'd you major in?
Broadcast and electronic communication arts. That's what it was called back then. So then I graduated. Jacob was transferred. When I met him, he was at Community College San Francisco. And I finished school. I was working now in the city. I had a great job. And he was commuting from UCSC. And one day he came home and he said, you're done. Will you move with me to Santa Cruz for just 2 years. After that, we'll do whatever you want. We'll live wherever you want. And I wasn't even sure I wanted to be with him still. And I was like, well, this is a really nice guy. And I was done, and I was ready for a change from San Francisco, I think. And so I followed him here.
To Santa Cruz.
We moved to Capitola in 2001, January. Actually, I guess it was still 2000. No, yeah, it was 2001. It was New Year's Day.
And you moved to Capitola.
Yeah, without jobs. I don't know what we were
it's like to be young. No jobs. Like,
no jobs. We moved into the village.
Oh, my God.
No jobs. And then luckily I landed my job, and that's when I started working at the Sentinel.
In the Sentinel. That's right. Because you're a journalist.
Yes.
Yes, I remember. I remember you telling me. Okay, so you guys moved to Capitola. You start working. He graduates. Then you guys. I remember. I think I was dating Tom when you guys bought your house in Watsonville.
Really?
I remember because he came up. We were dating once, and he came and saw you guys and spent time with you guys. And then we're gonna speed up a little. I get married with Tom. I think the first year we got married, he came to visit you. And you guys have 3 kids, but Jacob says, I'm starting a nonprofit. So the nonprofit Digital Nest is almost the same age as Olivia's Heritage.
Really?
Yeah. I remember the first time we came, your house was still under construction or remodel. And no, that was the second time we came. But you guys were talking about starting the Nest and Digital Nest. And so tell us, I don't know if you guys know the story about why Jacob started the Nest, but I want you to tell the story about the Nest because to this day it makes me cry.
So he had been working. We still lived in, I think, Fountain at the time. And he was working for a nonprofit there that was striving to get girls into the sciences and technology specific, Latina
like STEM,
girls.
Right?
Because they were the least represented in computer science.
Yeah.
So he was doing this work forever in the after school programs in this school district, PVUSD. And that's when he was like, these girls would do amazing things, win awards, and then he'd run into them later after his programs. And they were like working at Target and not like following these amazing things that like they were good at it. And he was so fresh. He was getting so frustrated. So much money being pumped into getting them in, but then they weren't following through. And so during that program he was at, which was at ETR Associates, he created what was called Watsonville Tech, which I named that one too. Tecnología, Educación y Comunidad. So it was TEC, no H, but it just flowed. Watsonville Tech. And he was like taking kids to Google and to Yahoo back then. And the kids were always so excited about the cafeteria and just the work environment. So he was like, what if we did that for them here? Like, what if we just created something that cool with cool snacks and like had them feel important and cared for? And so he did that. He started one day. So the Nest is 11 years old?
Yep.
Is it already 11 years old?
Yep. It is because you guys just had your 10-year
10
gala.
last year. So I think it'll be 12 years this October, November. I think we opened in November.
Yeah.
And so I remember he like just kept talking about opening this, and I was like, well, are you gonna do it? Are you like, to be honest, I didn't really understand. I thought it was like he's just bringing a space and tech access, right? Because that was the other issue. A lot of the kids, he would ask them like, do you guys have computers at home? And like big majority of the kids would raise their hand. And then he was like, wait a minute, let me ask this question again. And his question was more like, what does that look like? And what is that computer? Oh, there's a desktop in the hallway of our house, but it doesn't have internet access. But they were just answering that they had a computer.
Right,
but he wasn't asking the right questions. So when he started asking the questions, he realized that access was a big reason. And then the whole networking thing, that they didn't have that network of people who were into tech, or so if they wanted to pursue it, it was kind of impossible for them.
Yeah, especially with like Latinos, in the sense that we even going to school is hard, right? Like going to college, right? So we kind of skipped over it, but if you don't mind, we want to go back. Tell us how you went to college, because I still remember the story. I don't know if you remember that you told me that. Joanne says that she went to the library, she picked out a disc. It was a floppy disk at the time, put it into the computer, and she applied to FS State. That's why she went to FS State. Not because somebody said, hey, they have your major, because somebody took you on a field trip. As a Latina, first generation born here, that mother worked, father worked, didn't have time to take us to field trips. Then Joanne decided to go to college. So first of all, why did you decide to go to college? And second of all, the just circumstance of what college looked like for a Latina like you, coming from the projects.
So I wanted to move out after high school with a friend. And my mom said, and my dad said, well, you're only 17. You can't go anywhere. We're like, we still rule you. And at that point, my sister and my brothers, two of my brothers, one went to Northridge, the other one to UCSB, and my sister went to UC Santa Cruz.
Wow.
And I was like...
Wait, hold up, wait. Props to your mom. Props to your mom to instill for your siblings to go to college, because then that just propels you to say, I want to go to college.
And I'm not even sure that my mom understood. So I kind of credit my sister a lot, because she was the first. She literally, we took her to the Greyhound downtown LA, and she went to UCSC. She had never visited the campus either. I remember she had $20 in her pocket.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was 1988, so there was a different time, and so she led the way. And so I kind of understood, okay, college.
Kind of good for you.
A little bit. But for me...
There's so many stories within the story. I love it.
Yeah, so many stories within the story.
I love it, though.
But for me, it was I wanted to move out.
Yeah.
I didn't want to live in that house anymore. I kind of had a toxic environment. Don't want to get into that, but my dad wasn't,
That's another
a healthy person. So I wanted to get out, and I wanted to live with a friend, and they had told me, no, you can't. So the only way out was college. So I literally went, I think it was the last day to apply, and it was a floppy disk, and I pulled the first one, and it said SF State. I didn't even know where that was. I applied, and that's where I went.
Okay.
Yeah, I had pretty good grades, so I knew I get in no matter what.
And Joanne tells me stories that you cow search. That
was the other thing. My parents didn't speak English, and I thought, and I worked all summer to save up money because I had gotten something in the mail that said I needed to pay $800.
Right, for
the dorm. So I was like, okay, I could work and save that. So I worked, saved that, sent it in. A month into living there, the office, I don't remember what exactly office it was, but they said, hey, where's your next payment? And I thought I was paying for the whole school year. I don't know. I didn't know. I was 17.
There's a lot of money.
I don't know that I even read everything. And I was like, what? And I didn't have anybody. And the person who called me in and said, let's talk, said, I'll let you stay the last month because what you paid was first month and deposit. So they used the deposit to let me stay 2 months, and then I was out. So luckily, a girl in the dorms, her roommate got homesick and left. So I would just sneak in to the dorm by 7 when they started checking IDs. So I was stuck in the dorm after 7, which probably kept me straight for that first crazy no parent semester. The first time away from parents, I had to be back in the room by 7 because they would check your card. And I lost all that.
And so I bring this up because then you personally know what it's like to go to college on a budget or without any support. And the digital nest, Jake has this idea about the digital nest, how you can really impact youth, maybe with or without college, but really make a positive impact. And then you guys create the digital nest. So one thing that you guys have to know about this power couple is that when they put their minds to it to help the community, they do it. And I'm going to say a little story. So my husband and his family, Jacob, they're all about giving back to the community. I think as first generation Latinas born here, our way to give it back is always making food or giving somebody a couple bucks. And, we need to see immediately what we're helping, and donating is culturally not, my parents never donated too much, right? It's not part of our cultural norm. And one thing that I know about the Lemuses and the Welshes is that they want to help and they get involved. And my husband will ask for donations of my family and they'll never come through. And I tell him it's a cultural thing. We don't donate because we need to see where the money's going and how we maybe it's a trust factor. I don't know. But you guys are so different that when you guys set your mind to start something, you do it. Like, so Joanne's involved in the film festival, co-founder with Jake on the Watsonville Film Festival, Caravanas for the Campesinos. So they're really people that see a need and fulfill the need. I just have to ask, where does that come from? Like, where did you go from, because we grew up a lot of the same, to really just saying, I'm going to do it. I'm going to help no matter what. Like, how does that come?
I think to go back to what you said about maybe not being able to donate financially, like my mom, like she couldn't do that financially, but she was always like, somebody's family member was sick or died. She was the first one knocking on all the doors in the project, collecting money to give to that family. She was the first one making food for somebody who was sick. So I got it from her. And you're right. It wasn't like she could give. She cleaned houses for a living. So she couldn't give, but she could give of her time.
Right.
And so I think I definitely got it from that. Jacob's family, same. Like, yeah. I think they're just, I think it comes from the heart. Like, it's not something you really think through. And you know, for Latinos, I think we just can't wait for others to do it. We just need to do it ourselves.
Yeah, amen to that.
So that's it. I think that's it. It's a real simple, like, we're waiting around, we're going to wait forever. So you just got to do it. And I think for me, in this community, there's a lot of doers. So I think what we've done right, Jacob and I, is found the people in the community who do, you know, and I didn't say, I want to do with you, or, hey, we did together, now let's do together here. So a lot of the people that I feel like I do things with are the same group of people. Yeah. And those people are all like super overwhelmed, but they're doers, and it comes from the heart. So they don't say no. And you just, you know, and you find another need. Yes. And there's another pandemic, or there's, you know, it's just a whirlwind of just doing. And then even within the nest, right? Like when Jacob wanted to do it, and maybe at the beginning it was simply access, but then you start realizing like they need this and they need this and they need that. And then you find other ways. Like recently they did a whole wardrobe and clothes. Yes. And like they collected clothes for like interviews, and like, so there's always something that is needed, and there's always a way to participate, even if it's not financially. Yeah. Definitely. I think it just comes from the heart.
That's awesome. Yeah. And I always tell Tom, I go, they inspired me and also make me feel like shit sometimes, because I want to be at your level, but it's
Nancy, okay, I talked about how like you find others who care and do. Like for the caravans, when we're going out during the pandemic to thank the farm workers for their essential labor and talk to them about like, this is what you can be doing now for your kid, like school stuff, medical needs, house needs. Like we went out there giving the information. You were like, I'll come out. And I was like, yeah. So, you know,
no. I mean,
you're a doer too. And you came out there, and I remember like thinking like, how are they going to react to this person? And they were like in line waiting for you to look at their skin and show you a blemish here. And then like you found some scary ones. And so I think you made a huge impact. I don't know that, you know, coming out that day and giving away your products.
We gave away sunscreen and soap. And I remember and soap. And I was just like, and they were so grateful. And just realizing that skincare for them is not essential. Like, it's an afterthought, right? I
never knew what sunblock was until like I think I moved here. Even in San Francisco, I don't think I needed it then. But for them, and they really need it out there.
Right. No, and it's. I always say it's cultural, because we grew up son morenas. You don't need sunscreen.
That's what I thought.
That's what my mom used to tell me. But like with our essential workers, it was more of their exposure to like pesticides, the sun and the water. And when I went to the fields, I saw, oh my God, I was like, they really don't understand the impact that's happening on their skin. So for a brief moment, we were helping them with their skin. No, but what I mean by what I meant to say is like, I come to you, right? Like, okay, what do you need? And it's easy. I'm going to say this, I'm going to speak for myself. It's easy to donate and help when somebody's done the organizing, that somebody put together. And that is the part that like I completely admire, that Jacob saw the need of, hey, our community needs access to technology, and he didn't just say we have a need, he said we're going to do it, and you did it with him, right? And I truly believe Joanne is one of his strongest tools and resources is you behind him, because without Joanne, I really believe that there wouldn't be a digital nest. I know, Jacob, sorry, you might be upset at me, but I really don't think there'd be a digital nest, and just the impact that you have on him, and that he's able to do what he does. And, Joanne has 3 kids, and she's a stay-at-home mom. And, this is up for debate. I don't know who has a harder job, you or him.
Well, when we decided, we adopted all our kids. So when we got the boys, they were 4 and 5, and we kept working, both of us. At that point I was doing like PR work for a nonprofit, and he was in grad school, and we came home one day.
He was still in school when you guys adopted the boys?
Yeah, he was in grad
I did
school.
not know that.
And we came home one day. So we were taking the kids to school in the morning, or Frank was only 4, so like a daycare. And that was only a part-time daycare. And then during my lunch break, I'd go pick him up and take him to another daycare. And then I'd go back and get him like at 5:20, like a little bit later. And then Domingo, who was 5 at the time, at that point he had returned 6. I'd get him from the after-school program, which was heaven sent, an after-school program, because we didn't have to pay for that. So we're paying for Frank's afternoon thing. And then we realized, like, we're not getting home till, like, after 6. They're little boys. They go to bed by 8. I mean, they should go to bed by 8. And so how were we different from the foster care homes they were in? How were they getting to know us? So we made that decision one day that it was a really hard year, to one of us needs to stay home. And at that point, I was like, well, you can have a grad degree. I only have an undergrad. And so I was kind of like, and I didn't realize what we were doing, but we literally Rochambeau'd. I lost. I had to stay home.
So, yeah.
And we knew staying home would be harder, because we were like, oh. But really, actually, the fact that he was getting a grad degree, I'm like, you probably get better salary than an undergrad degree. Yeah. But yeah, I became a stay-at-home mom in 2009.
Yeah, 2009.
And then we got a little girl, and then
that
was over.
Yeah, no, and staying home, I think I like to work, because I always say staying home moms. I give props to every stay-home mom. And I think some women are meant to stay home. I think you're a good stay-at-home. I think my children would hate me if I stayed home. They would. Or I would be an alcoholic, one or the other. Because
both. They hate you and you'd be an alcoholic.
Yeah, because staying home is hard. I remember another little story when Tom was unemployed, and he was staying home with the kids, and I was going out working. I remember I used to get home, and Tom would be like, here's the kid. I'm fucking leaving. I'm like, I'm out. And I would be like, dude, like, when I stayed home, you came home, and, women are going to stay home no matter what. They're home 24/7, right? And then I was like, oh. And I do know that my husband got appreciation for stay-at-home moms when he stayed home, because he was like, this shit never stops, right? It never does. And so I think staying home is like the hardest. So props to you, girl. I'm like, hell no, my kids would.
It kind of backfires when people know that you're a stay-at-home mom, because then you're the one that has to drive to all the field trips, and like when the pandemic thing happened and we were going to the caravans, and then everybody was involved. And then when everybody went back to work, you're like, oh no, I'm doing all the hard lifting.
Yeah.
For some of it, like
no, I try to be involved. Like I will go to the field trips and all that, but I'd rather take the day off and be like, peace. I gotta go now. Like, I gotta go clock in somewhere, because it's tough. But okay, so now tell me about, like, how did the idea for the caravan for the campesinos came about? Because that was recent, and it was such a need for the community. And honestly, like, only you and Jacob can think about this. So tell me about that.
No, so we didn't start that. So there was a group of friends of ours that were doing like a Zoom wine night, or I don't know, tequila night. And I guess that one day led to a bunch of them talking about, like, hey, they saw something, and like it was like all the grocery store workers and police, doctors, yes, were like getting props for like not sheltering in place because it was for the greater good and putting themselves at risk going out there. And they were like, well, we see our farm workers out there all the time. So they went, they started like, hey, let's do something. And when it was one of Jacob's staff was involved. So she wrote us and she's like, do you want to come out? And we're like, yes, we've been stuck at home and it's safe in the car. Like, we could do this. So we went out with all the kids and did our first caravan. And then they're like, we should keep doing this. So then it led to this, like, I think it was like 3 years.
Yeah.
Of going out at least once a week to a farm. That meant fundraising. We fundraised. I can't remember the total amount. We had a few little grants here, so I was in charge of all like the money.
The grant writing.
I was like the treasurer. Nobody discussed it. It just happened. And then I got a fiscal sponsor. So then we were able to like raise money from other individuals, not just your friends. At the beginning, it was like, we didn't even document that really well. It was just like asking your friends and your siblings, like, hey, trust me, I'll use it for this.
Yeah.
And then we did it officially. And I think we raised like maybe 80,000.
Yeah.
And then there was money from like little grants here that wasn't part of that. So,
and I remember like
and
buying
every penny
diapers
went back to them.
Yeah, I remember that.
And it wasn't just like diapers because we said they needed diapers.
It's what they needed.
We asked them. We had a little poll
I remember that.
at the fields, like, what do you need? And it was all the like hand sanitizer, and which was hard to find at that early stages. Masks, which was hard to find at that time. Yeah. So it was everything that they wanted and they needed. We used it, and then we found a way to get these gift cards. So we were going to give them money. Gift card. So we're giving them $50 each every visit and giving them a lunch. So we only took their lunch break. We didn't even take more of their time. We went to them, and then we'd bring out people like you, who were willing to do or give of their time or their service or their product. And so it was a lot of fun. Like really, it was very emotional, rewarding.
It was emotional. I remember like just tearing up, like, oh.
Yeah, we show up with our big old signs, like, we love you. And then like driving, honking the car and blasting music. And we had the little speaker, and it felt really good to thank them and make sure they knew that they were essential workers. And
absolutely.
when everybody was getting, what was that check that people got that first?
Oh, the stimulus.
Yeah.
They didn't get none.
Check, what was it? They didn't get any. And they were saying like, well,
Yeah, because a lot of them have EIN numbers, or they're
undocumented or whatever,
or they just have a temporary visa that do not make them eligible for any of the stimulus. And they don't. For you guys that don't know this, our farm workers file taxes and will never get a return. Even if they're owed a return because of their legal status, they will never get returned, even though they pay into the system. That's just a tidbit for anybody that wants to know about that. So, but I mean, like somebody like Joanne and her resources is essential to a community like Watsonville. And I remember being in awe when you told me. I was like, damn, these guys did it again.
It was really rewarding. At first we went like thinking like this is for them, but heck no. Taking my kids on those drives and seeing their faces, and I mean, my boys even got to put on their whole folklorico outfits and dance on the fields for them.
I remember that.
That was beautiful.
I remember when you also took out mariachi. I think
we took mariachi on Mother's Day a few times.
September 17th, El Día del Grito.
We did that too. And those were all money. It wasn't from the money we collected. That was extra money that somebody donated. So we were really careful though when we told people every penny collected is going back to them. It was true. It was true. Even our fiscal sponsor didn't charge us. They did us a favor. So
I mean, amazing work. And now another passion that you and Jacob have, the Watsonville Film Festival. I remember, I think we came to your second one from LA. I remember being at the Mello Center. It's grown so much. How does the Watsonville Film Festival come to be, and how do you guys start that? I'm telling you, amazing.
Okay, I'll tell you the truth. It started off with Beer Fest. We had Beer Fest at our house, and John and Consuelo, which are the other co-founders. I don't consider myself a co-founder. It was Jacob, John, and Consuelo because I had just gotten money. But we had a Oktoberfest at our house. In October of, I forgot what year that was. The film festival is 14 years old. So maybe a year before that. So like 15 years ago.
Wait, the film festival is older than the Nest?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was it. Okay.
So we were having beer, and when we have our Oktoberfest, we tell people, bring beer to share that you don't think somebody else has already had. And then at that time we had a sandbox, and we filled it. We put like a tarp and filled it with ice. And that sandbox was probably like half the size of this carpet. It was full of different beers. So a lot of beer was drank. And John and Consuelo had been working on a documentary film. Jacob had been working with kids who were creating these amazing little films as part of some of his projects. And he was like, but like they don't feel like it just, people come, they'll do a little screening, people watch it, and then it ends and it dies. And the screening is at the cafeteria, and only their parents come. And John and Consuelo are like, why don't we do like a little film festival and show our film? And Jacob's like, yeah, because I think they came to one of Jacob's film things.
Yeah.
With it was at the EA Hall Middle School. It was middle school kids. And they were there. So that already had been in their minds. And then that Oktoberfest at our house. And sure enough, I think it was like the next March or something really quick. They put on the first Watsonville Film Festival, and they got a lot of people involved. Jacob's old job, ETR Associates, was the fiscal sponsor. Like, it was one of those just pool resources, see who can help. They got a lot of school people, like a counselor, and anyway, a lot of local people involved, and they combined it with school stuff, and it was a big success. I think the Mello Center sold out. It was a one-day thing that time. The Mello Center was booked, and that fits 700 people. It was booked.
Yeah,
it was amazing, and I had Mari. I think they had planned it, and we didn't have Mari yet. And then she was a shocking, out of the blue adoption that happened for us. And so then I couldn't be very involved. So I wasn't very involved for the first, until Mari started kinder. Then I was like, okay, now I can really, because, half the day she had something to do. But yeah, that's how it started.
And then talk about where it's at now. You guys are at the Santa Cruz Theater, you filled that up. Salinas. So it's
grown.
It is grown. And
you know what the coolest thing is?
What?
It's going to be a big quince.
Oh, is there? Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. Yeah.
I don't know yet what, it's in the planning stages, but it'll be next March. So
nice. Yeah, and so we moved to Watsonville from LA because of Jake and Joanne. I remember when Tom was relocating Well, Tom always wanted to come back. I remember one of our first dates. He's like, "Oh, when I get a chance to move to, the Santa Cruz or Bay Area, I'm gonna move." And I was like, "Okay, whatever, sure, dude."
I don't like you that much. I might not be dating you back then.
Yeah, I might not be dating. And then 15 years later, he's like, "Do you remember when I said this?" I was like, I should have said no.
No.
But I did remember, and so we came, and I remember he was looking for places like in Marina and Seaside. And then I told him, I go, because I'm last of 7, so I have a big family. I told him, I go, I need to be around family. So one of the reasons we moved to Watsonville was for you guys. And I remember Jake telling me, open up here in Watsonville. I was like, dude, there's nobody here. I'm like, what are you talking about? I was like, and he was like, Nancy, just open. And I think I waited 2 years before I was living in Watsonville, commuting to LA, going to LA, and I was so scared to just start in a small town. And I was like, I remember I was so insecure. I was just so I don't know anything about anything here. I was stuck in my bubble because I think we would go from our house to your house, our house to your house. I didn't know anybody.
Then the pandemic hit,
and we were in lockdown, and it was such a awful feeling. But I remember you and Jake just telling me, you're going to be fine. You're going to do okay. And finally I said, okay, I took the first step. And so if you guys know, we started in a small room here in Corralitos, and then we took over the neighbor's spot, and then we took over the other spot, and then we finally took over the dance studio where we're at now. But I think I go back to our culture, just using the resources and the people we have around us. I think one of the things that we Latinos have is that when we know how to pour our resources together, we actually do a good job. We actually know. And I always tell people, it's so embedded in our culture. Hey, do you know somebody that sells tires? Yeah, go down here. Hey, do you know a plumber? Yeah, we are our own resources, and we sometimes don't realize and know how to leverage it for bigger things. And one thing I remember Jake talking about with the nest is creating a centralized resource for our kids, for the youth, for us, and not being so individualistic in the sense that we don't even know it's a resource, right? Because we're so used to, it's oh, go here, go there, tell so-and-so I sent you. Oh, tell them to give you a discount. That is so embedded culturally in us, but we've never centralized like Jake has with the Digital Nest, which is an amazing thing to do. What do you think?
Well, I was thinking about when you said, like, Jacob couldn't have done the nest without me. I hear you, but yes, he could. He's a hard worker.
Oh,
and
yeah.
what you did here, sure, Jacob said you could do it, but you would have done it anyway. You're like that. So I think
Thank you.
I think what we have as Latinos is that we have to fight harder for things. And again, not waiting for somebody to do it for us, because it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Like for Jacob, like raising money for the nest, 2% of philanthropic dollars go to Latino leaders.
Wow.
Only 2%. So he has to fight every single day. And so for you, like, to start this on your own, yes, you have Tom and, you have supportive family and friends, but like, you have to just do it, and you did it. And so, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think Jacob would have done the nest regardless. I think I facilitated a little bit. I feel like I'm his therapist, and his like every night I feel like we're debriefing what happened at the nest and what he could do different or better. But also, like, when you said resources, I think one thing that he has done right is found and brought in people who are smarter than him.
Absolutely.
Plain and simple. Like, that's his, like, that's what he's done right. Like, I don't know this, so let me find somebody who knows how to do this.
Yeah.
And he has no issue saying that. So he's not going to be mad at me for saying he finds smarter people than him. But that's just such a good technique, right? Like, I don't need to be the smartest. I just need smart people who are well-intended to do the work and do it right. So.
Yeah. I always think you shouldn't be the smartest person in the room. And for leaders, sometimes you have to get rid of your ego. You have to get rid of that wanting to, and I think it comes with the age, and it comes with failure at times, but yeah, absolutely. And that's my thing too, and I also believe in really sharing our knowledge. Like, I hate gatekeeping, especially us with Latina women, because there's enough challenges out there, and gatekeeping to me is the worst you can do for anybody, right? And so for us, I always tell people, all our hires, whoever comes in will know how to run a business by the time they're done. And I got no fear, because el sol sale para todos. I believe in a theory of abundance, and I think that there's enough for everybody. But I think the stronger we make our cohorts, the stronger we make people around us, the better, the better. And I think that's like one of the things I love about the Digital Nest, you and Jacob, is like, the more you guys can share, the more you guys share. And that's just amazing. It's just another way of looking at life that really just inspires. But like, if you guys are not inspired by Joanne after this, I don't know what to tell you, but like, this is what community activism looks like. This is what it should be, and this is something that if we can just do a little bit of what she does and Jacob does, I think the world will be such a better place. Now, let's talk about your kids. My favorite part. I have 3 beautiful children. Domingo, Frankie, and Mari. People are going to say I'm biased to Frankie, but I'm not. I love them all. But Frankie's just melts my heart. Domingo's just a strong character that I love. His strong, his abrasiveness. I love it because he reminds me of me.
He's funny too.
Yeah. And Mari, she melts my heart all the time. So tell us about your kids.
Domingo, he's 23. He lives in Sonoma. He's hoping to continue his education. He's taking a break, but he's a wonderful human being. And I think that's one of the things that all I wanted for my kids, even though a therapist told me it's not enough. She asked me when, given that they're adopted, I make sure that all of them have some support. So they're all in therapy. When they were little, I told them, once you start middle school, I'm going to put you in something called therapy, and this is what it's going to do for you. So anyway, when Domingo first started, I met with his therapist, and she's like, so tell me what you want for your children. And I was like, well, I want to make sure that they're happy and healthy. And she just stared at me like, what do you mean? And I'm like, happy, healthy, and that they're good people? And she's like, look, they could be healthy and happy and good people sitting on the couch playing video games all day. She's like, what you want to do as a mother is make them self-sufficient.
That's right.
And she meant emotionally, financially, all these, you know, like, and so that's been my goal. Domingo's currently self-sufficient. I think all of us can always use more support emotionally. But he's a great person. All my 3 kids are really good people.
Yeah.
You know, everybody makes mistakes. It has been the hardest thing ever done in my life, has been parenting. Hardest thing.
Yeah.
And I think it's, I would tell anybody who's considering being a parent, it is the hardest thing you'll ever do.
Well,
no matter if they're adopted or
biologically, yeah.
Like, and that's one thing I learned later. Like when I talk to other moms, they're like, I deal with that too. And I'm like, oh, okay. It's not just that they had a really hard first 4 and 5 years of their lives.
Well, my staff will tell you, hey, Tom, the moral of the story is don't have kids.
Have kids. Oh my God.
I tell my staff that the moral of this story is do not. No, it's
the wins are big. With, oh my God.
And but Frankie,
and then Frankie is 22. He's a firefighter.
Yes, he is for Cal Fire.
He's a Cal Fire.
Oh my God! When he went away to the fire, when we had his going away party, all I want to do is cry because he wears his heart on his sleeve and his heart is beating outside his chest, and I was just like, oh my God! I didn't know how you did it. I was just like, I wanted to cry.
I was surprised I made it through, but that's one thing I told my kids. I'm like, he thought that we wanted him to go to college because Domingo went off to college right out of high school. And he's like, I don't want to go to college. And I remember saying, wait, we don't expect you to. We just want you to have a plan. So if you don't, he's like, I don't want to go to college. I don't want to sit at a desk. I don't want to be somebody's boss. And I'm like, well, then what do you want to do? And he started they made him do something at his school. He went to Diamond Tech, a smaller high school here. And they made him do some kind of like assessment of like, what do you want your life to look like? And like, okay, so you have to make this much money and here are jobs. And then, also like, I don't want to sit at a desk type thing. And like firefighter, like electrician, those kind of jobs came up for him. And then one day the city was offering like a youth academy program. And he got home from school like 3:30. And I think the deadline was that day like at 4. And I was like, Frank, look. And he's like, oh. And then it encouraged to do a video application. And I said, I bet you none of the kids your age will do a video application. Do it. And he did a little video. And sure enough, he got a spot. And it was like coveted spot. So he got really excited. And that led to him becoming, he didn't go off to college. And we were fine with that. We were never like, even with Digital Nest kids, we're like, if it's not your path, it's not your path. Yeah. But have a path. Be ready for something. Start preparing yourself. So anyway, so that's what he's doing. Mari's 14. So she's an 8th grader, softball player. Loves that. That's her identity right now, softball. And she's really good at it.
Yeah, she is.
She's a really good person too. Really good heart. She's a sweet kid. Yeah. So I got really lucky.
You did.
Even though I say it's so hard.
No, it is.
I
think motherhood is something that should not be taken lightly. And I think working mothers is also, working. I remember they used to make me feel guilty or I should stay home. And for a minute, I was like, damn, maybe I should stay home. Then I realized, no, I'll choke my kids. But, as a mom, you feel guilty or you feel like, am I a good mom because I work? And then I realized I'm a good mom because I work. Because if I didn't work, it'd be different just because, and it's not that you're meant to be not a mom because you want to work. Like for me, wanting to work and wanting to be something out, like going out there, for a time I thought maybe, that's a sign of not being a good mom. And it's not one or the other, because it can be both, right?
Well, I respect working mothers so much. Like I can't, to pull off both things. And it's like, you can't stop being a mom.
No, you can't. You can't.
And you not like owning your own business, a whole nother level of responsibility. So you're here giving me all this praise, but holy shit, Nancy, what you do and having the type of husband you have.
That's another podcast, girl. That's another one. That's for another day. You and I.
Him and mine are cousins, so I feel you. Just kidding. No, we
married into a particular kind of family. I'm pretty sure they'll say the same about our families, but they're them special. They're a little special. But anyways, I think for me, I remember like raising my kids in it. I will tell you, for Tom, I think in the beginning it was hard because I would drag my kids everywhere and he'd be like, why are you taking the kids? That was my only time to spend with them, right? And then I realized that my kids would like it. And then, especially Noah would be like, Mom, can I go with you to the farmer's market? I was like, seriously? He was like, yeah. And I would like sometimes take him out of the car seat because I didn't have enough seat. I'm like, okay, get in the box. And then Tom would come and he'd be like, why is my kid, roaming the farmer's market? He's only 6. I was like, because everybody knows him. But like for Tom, it was such a different dynamic, right? And for me, it was a time to spend with my kids and to, interact with my kids. And I'm blessed that I was always able to bring my kids into my work. And my respect goes out to those women that don't have that luxury to bring their kids into the work, that leave them for 8 hours and they have to come back, or they see them, like you said, from 6 to 8, because I've done that as well, right? So it's like, for me, it's on the contrary. I've been blessed because I've been able to integrate my children in every aspect of my business and how it's grown from the beginning stages to the end, to its growth. And I think that's part of the heritage, but I was raised that way too.
But it's not, it's also, it's great for you, right? Like you get to spend more time with them, but what it's doing for them, teaching them, watching, like I'd go clean houses with my mom and see here, like she didn't speak English, but all her bosses from all the houses were English, and she pulled it off, she cleaned really well. And then we'd go sell at the park, and I'd see her technique of like, por ver no se cobra. And next thing you know, the person who said they didn't want to buy anything from her little bags, buy $10 worth of little things. And so to watch that and experience that and feel the success, I'm like, we didn't have enough for rent 2 hours ago, and now we do, and it's such a rewarding feeling. It's a blessing to them that you're able to put them into your world and let them see what entrepreneurship is. How to make a buck.
Well, and it's funny because I grew up the same way. My mom went to the swap meet, right? And we were required to go, and our direct impact we knew was to pay the rent, to pay the mortgage, to buy food. And somebody once told me, he's like, why our parents' businesses were successful? I said, why? And there's like, cheap labor, child labor. And I was like, I was like, what do you mean? And they're like, you're able to have what you have because you work the business. And I had never seen it from that point of view. I had always seen it from that was just what we did. But it came from survival. I agree with you. The lessons that our mothers taught us was so imperative for me to teach my kids. I just wanted to teach it in a more formal way than my mom did to me. But it's funny because I have a brother that is an engineer that also would go to the swap meet with me. And I remember Francisco said, I never want to go to a swap meet. I never want to own a business. I want somebody to write me a check and I can freaking catch it at the end of the week, right? And I went the total opposite. And the debate between him and I is he tells me all the time, you did to your kids what mom did to us.
Like negatively, he says it?
Oh, yeah. I remember when I used to go to the farmer's market, he'd be like, why are you taking them to the swap meet? And I'd be like, it's a farmer's market. He's like, the same shit. It's the swap meet. And I'd be like, and he would tell me, like, why would you do that? And for me, it was like seeing Giselle develop her speaking abilities, her negotiation abilities, the presence, the command that she has over her vocabulary. I was so proud. And Noah from really small, like I even remember we would take him to trade shows and he was this little thing and he would go out, give samples, and he would tell people, would you like to try my mom's mango butter? It's all natural. And like he would have this whole spiel and people would come to our booth because they'd be like, I don't know whose kid this is, but he's great, and I need to buy it because of him. Uh-huh. And to this day, Noah loves to do his own trade shows, his own markets, because he loves the feeling of setting something up, selling it, and just the outcome, right? And so for me, it did take me a while to be like, oh, this was positive. And then one of my biggest compliments I've gotten is from our oldest son, Milan, when his girlfriend told Tom, I want to raise my children in a business just the way Noah and Giselle were raised. I was like, oh.
I mean, what a skill set. Like, your two kids will never go broke. They'll know how to turn a dollar. They know how to do it.
I know they will survive. And somebody said, I don't know where I heard this. Your goal as a parent is to be obsolete in your children's life.
Yeah, self-sufficient. That's what the therapist told me. I was like,
yeah.
Not
and
happy.
I was just like, obsolete. I was like, Jesus. I was
you know what? And I think about that. My mom died. I had just gotten married. I think I was like 26, like the year after I got married.
Wow.
And I realized that's what she did for me. Like, she had it really hard. She had a really hard life. But, like having to translate for her everything and going to sell for her. And, like, I got people skills because of her, like, whatever they are. I learned that, like, I will never go hungry. I'll figure it out.
We're innovators. We're innovators. Yeah. We're resourceful.
That's what necessity does.
Yeah. Okay, but one of my favorite stories with Joanne is the Pepsi.
Oh my God, so embarrassed.
But this is what it's like to be a child of an immigrant. This is what it's like to go to ESL, to have both languages, and not to have a full command of either one until you get older. But please.
Okay, fine. Okay, so my mom loved Pepsi.
Uh-huh.
And in the housing projects, there was one little liquor store. You had to walk all the way to it, but there was one. And it was Korean owned. And she would tell me, quiero una Pepsi al tiempo.
Yeah.
She didn't like it cold for some reason. So I'd walk over there, my 6-year-old self or however old I was. And the guy only spoke English. And my English was, okay. And I would say, can I have a Pepsi? But not in the fridge. And he's like, huh? I'm a Pepsi at time. And he's like, at time? I'm like, yeah, can I have a Pepsi at time? And he was always so confused. And then I said, not in the fridge. And then he'd eventually go. And after like the third time, he knew when I came in that I wanted the one from the back, not in the fridge. But I didn't know that it meant room temperature. I was literally translating. Literal al tiempo, at time. So there's a lot of learning lessons with my mom and that. Like I'd go with her to pay the bills,
Well, my favorite one was when I went to the doctor. My mom was like, "Dile que tengo aire." I was like, "What?" I was like,
she has air.
And I was like, she has air. And the doctor's like, air? Like, I was like, in her back. And she says it hurts. And the doctor's like,
she has air in her back?
And then I learned it was trapped gas, And I was like, I don't fucking know.
I think he eventually understood you. And that was my thing too, where I'm like, well, eventually they'll understand me. And my mom too. That's what she said. Like, con tiempo me van a entender. And so all her bosses only spoke English. And they understood eventually, right? What she needed. But and that's what I tell people now who don't speak another language. And they're like, oh, it's embarrassing. I'm like, who cares? Just do it, because at least you're trying, and eventually they're going to understand you. But I mean, I remember recently, like maybe in the last 10 years, trying to tell somebody to get a money orden. And I thought that was a Spanish word. And they're like, ¿qué? Sí, just vaya y pídale un money orden. And she didn't understand. And I was like, oh shit, it's not a Spanish word. It's money order. Money orden, I thought was a real Spanish word.
No, that's...
So I broke it up. I'm like, oh no, that was my mom's way of saying money order.
Yeah.
But you learn how to figure it out. And yes, it's embarrassing in the moment, but at least you're trying. So.
No, and I think I look back and all that, so endearing, and like I love it. I love it because it just shows you how resilient you are at 6, right? You kept on going to the liquor store instead of coming back and saying, "Mom, I'm not going back anymore because the guy doesn't understand."
Una Pepsi
al tiempo
y unos Salem 100s. That's what I would buy.
6 years old. I love it. No, but that's what it's like. And then, and to bring it kind of all back, this is our heritage. Like, one of the reasons we named Olivia's Heritage is, especially for Latinas and especially for immigrant Latinas that have to come to this country and leave their families behind, leave their culture behind, not understand the laws, not understand some societal things that we have to go through. We have a heritage, and we end up depending on that. And that is our cornerstone. That is like what grounds us. And It's what grounds us in the moment and what keeps us going forward, right? And this is, I always tell people, this is my heritage, to be an entrepreneur, to be resourceful, to be a guerrera, you know, because we don't give up. We don't give up. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud of coming from that. I'm proud of sharing that. And this is our heritage. And I remember even skincare, right? Like, skincare, when I met you, you're like, oh, I don't do much.
I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I don't know what to do. And this is so common, right? I didn't know what to do till I got into beauty school and I got into this, right? Because our mothers came to survive. So skincare was their last thing that they're going to do. Last thing they were going to teach us, right? Because I do see a difference within us women that are here in the U.S. and immigrant children to women like in Mexico or Central America. There's more of an understanding that skincare is healthcare. Skincare is part of the routine because they're either thriving or they're settled. Versus when you come back, you migrate and have an offspring. That's the last thing that our
financially too, right?
Yeah, financially, yeah. It requires an investment of time and money, and sometimes you could, like, my mom, I think, could afford it, but didn't have the time. My mom worked 7 days a week, right? You know, sometimes 2 jobs. Like, to her, washing her skin or putting a moisturizer on. I remember sunscreen was a...
Never heard of it till later in life.
Yeah. And I remember when I'm like, you're not wearing sunscreen.
I was like, God.
And then there was a point where Joanne's like, I don't want to see you because you always tell me something.
You point out my flaws.
Not point out your flaws, but like...
my needs. You're like, needs. You need this.
Yeah.
I've been better about water.
Yeah.
I do put on moisturizer. I do put on one of your products. I'm bad at following routines, but I do every day. I put on one of the products every night. I swear. I'm not lying. I do it. And I don't know, like, I think she said this one was the morning, but whatever. I'm going to put it up. Because I'm bad at that. I'm bad at, like, I need to do that. I need to take notes and do things better for myself. But I do appreciate how important it is. And I wish my mom had taught me earlier because I do see, like, blemishes that probably wouldn't have been there if she had taught us about sunblock. She didn't know.
No,
but, like,
she didn't. And like I said, it wasn't a thing that they were thinking about.
It wasn't something that was on her budget for, like, oh, I need money for this. No, she needed money for food, for bus, and maybe clothes once a year. Like, you know. It wasn't. I remember going shopping for school clothes once a year, and it was a big deal. Like, you took care of those shoes because they were the shoes for the whole year. Now I see my kids, and I'm like,
you have
like I saw Mari the other day, and she had new shoes, and she got up off the cement. I'm like, what are you doing? It's so painful. But yeah, so necessity was the reason. Like, my mom had other needs, so I would see her put on makeup. Not kidding. She would get, like, if there was a rose in the front or something, she'd go and, like, para los chapetes. And then, like, I don't know, like, she used oranges as deodorant. Yeah. She used mint as, like, her gum. Like, she was always very resourceful.
Always, yeah. And I think, like, one thing about...
Or she would just pinch her cheeks. To make them red. That's what she would do.
Yeah, no, I remember when my mom tried selling Mary Kay. It didn't go well for her, but she tried because she also felt the need, but didn't know where to start or how to start. And I do also remember her being a little embarrassed because she knew she didn't know. So I always think about these things. I'm like, wow. I was like, I'm so proud that we've come so far. But, you know, skincare is self-care. And what I love about the product is that we use all of that, the rose, the mint, the lavenders. Because I'm going to say this bold and out loud. We're all about organic and natural. We always have been. Like, how many remedios caseros did your mom have? Like, I remember when I used to get ingrowns, my mom would put my feet in oregano water, right? Or
garlic for earaches. Yeah. Roasted tomatoes on the soles of my feet or my belly to break the fever.
Onion.
Or that was so gross.
But they worked.
I think it worked because we didn't have medical insurance growing up.
Yeah.
So
we didn't either. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so like we had to rely on all this. And this is what Olivia's Heritage has done, is taking all these recipes and all this knowledge and put it into a bottle.
Your hip rose spray, the hip rose. Yeah. Oh, there's so many. The turmeric mask.
Yep. And I love it, but I love that it is all Latino in a bottle, I call it. Latinoism in a bottle. And it took me so long to just like be proud of that, but I'm so proud of it.
You should be so proud.
Oh, thank
Honestly,
you.
like I was the kid who would go into, not even a kid, I didn't start going to the mall probably in college. And I'd walk into the part where all the perfumes were, and I would like get, like my eyes would water, and none of your products have done that.
Because we don't
one.
use fragrances.
And I can handle every product. Even like I had pretty sensitive skin. Like I would put sunblock on and I'd break out. Mm-hmm. And none of your stuff has done that to me.
Oh,
I'm not just saying that. That's the truth. I am not kidding. And the scent, I'm telling you, I have a really hard time with scents. Like I'll start sneezing and sneezing. I don't do that with any of your stuff.
Because we don't use fragrances. We actually use the plants to scent.
What are fragrances made out of? Chemicals?
Yes. That's what a fragrance is.
And that's what makes me sneeze?
Usually it's a phthalates or a preservative or something synthetic. It's
harsh.
It's harsh. And that's what Giselle's also allergic to. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed my guest. Again, this is somebody I hold dear to my heart. This is somebody that I look up to. And when I grow up, I want to be just like you, Joanne.
Okay, now she's pointing out that I'm a lot older. Thank you very much.
You're not, though.
Only, 3 years?
Yeah. I just tease her. But this is somebody that I hope inspires you, hope just motivates you to get up and do something for the community. And if anything, if you want ever information on how to get started, leave a comment. I'll make sure she answers it. Or any questions of any of the topics we talked about, please leave a comment, and just shout out to Joanne. If you see her in the community, just know that her heart and soul is in the Watsonville community, and her and Jacob do so much for the community, and just so proud to be in the same space as you.
Well, thank you. Thank you for your words, and thank you for helping me with my skin. It's looking a lot better. And I really appreciate you too, and everything you've done, and just the thoughtfulness to our Latina women. It's unique.
Quick question. What do you do for your self-care? Like what? I know Olivia's, thank you, but what else? Like what else that is self-care and it is Joanne time?
Walking. I walk my dog every day.
And when she walks her dog, she uses Olivia's Heritage sunscreen, non-toxic. Go on.
The self-care is definitely like when you talk about like for myself, like I walk a lot. I walk my dog. I go to the beach or to a park or one of the levees. It's just really good, like the sun, and just I feel good. I listen to a good podcast, and I enjoy my baby dog, who I love very much. But then there's the like something that I started doing in the last few years is like taking care of my skin, which is not something that I knew how to do or what to do for it. And thanks to you, like I said, I use your products. I'm not good about, because I know you tell me at daytime use this, nighttime use that, and I just use it. And I just feel like my skin feels different. So I take care of me that way. We try to get date nights in, like Jacob and I, and that's really like kind of a de-stressor, just him and I alone.
Yeah. No kids.
No kids. Yeah.
And you can't talk about the kids.
And we get away. We try to get doesn't seem like enough, but like at least twice a year, we try to do like a 5 to 7 day getaway, just us alone.
Good for you guys.
That's a big one. I know that's a big one for Jacob. Like just getting away for a while. Those are my self-care stuff, and feed myself well. Like I like to eat well. Like I don't eat junk food. I try to eat. I feel like I deserve good food.
Absolutely.
So I give myself good food.
We all do. Absolutely. Now, everybody, I want you to to really make an effort to donate to the Nest. So Digital Nest has made such an impact. It started here in Watsonville. It's one of the fastest growing nonprofits in the Bay Area, and the impact that the Digital Nest has had is amazing. If you ever doubt it, do it. They did a TED Talk. Go listen to Jacob and his other two youth that have actually done so well for themselves directly from the Nest. Joanne doesn't like when I say this, but I know that my daughter went to college and got into college because of the Nest. I always thank you guys for that, because not that Giselle was on a wrong path, but Giselle just really found her passion and really found something that gave her that pathway at the nest. So it's a deep cause for me, and I love it. So donate, even if it's $5. Every time that I talk about the nest, I ask for donations because the impact is so great. So we're also going to put a link in the bio of this podcast for you to donate. I can't stress it enough. So do me a favor, honor Joanne by donating to the nest, and also the Watsonville Film Festival. The arts are important too. You know, we have so many Latino creative storytellers that don't get enough credit, that should get the credit that they deserve. We deserve breaded roles in Hollywood as well. So this is what the Watsonville Film Festival is trying to also change. So that's another organization that Joanne is heavily a part of. I know she likes to take the back seat, but I'm going to put her back in the front seat because she deserves all the credit. So that's another thing. But Digital Nest, we have hired 2 of their nesters. Our camera guy started at the Digital Nest. Our other guy started from the Digital Nest. We try to hire from them all the time because our youth deserves better, and we're here to make a difference and an impact. So donate to the Nest, $5, $2, I don't care, donate. And thank you, Joanne.
Thank you. Also hire them, like Nancy said.
Yes.
These are really talented young people who know how to work hard.
Yes.
And won't let you down.
They won't. They don't. I've hired both for social media. Daniel, the one in the behind the camera, is one of the beginning persons that started to the Nest. He doesn't like to. He's like, I use your cameras, but I didn't do much. But even then, the impact that the Nest can have just by loaning a camera or a computer goes a long way, right? And so that is.
So also, if you're a mom, or you have nieces or nephews who are between the age of high school age, so like 14 through 24, it's completely free. Send them.
Yes.
Send them.
They feed them, and they feed them good food.
Yeah. So there's one in Modesto, Stockton, Salinas, Gilroy, and here in Watsonville. And I'll announce there's going to be a 6th location pretty soon, which we're not ready to share, but it's working. That's why these communities are bringing the Nest in. So if you have a child, those ages, you're doing them a disservice by not sending them.
Absolutely.
Like instead of having your kids sitting around playing video games, have them come out and create video games. Like send them. It's free. It doesn't cost you a penny.
Yeah. And to educate and inform for free takes a lot of effort and money, and we need it. Digital Nest needs it. It always goes to a good cause. So again, donate, and thank you, Joanne.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Thank you. And till next time.